All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and infinite glory unto my Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakwadash. All right, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught us His truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, those making their bodies a living sacrifice in these last days, and especially in these last days, okay? And I wanted to touch on some of the news that we've been seeing here over the past few days. And, of course, we have some of the major headlines of, the passing of this individual, Charlie Kirk, which, to me, in my opinion, the scriptures, they illustrate how this man Esau Edom gets down. Right, and the scriptures show his nature by letting you in on the fact that this man is an enchanter, that he's a witch, you see. And to my opinion, one of his spells that he's putting forth is this major enchantment of this individual, Charlie Kirk. And I mean that in a way of this is going to be used as fuel and fodder to further the NWO. And as we can see right here with the article that I have pulled up, it's an attack upon free speech, okay, which I'll read this article just a bit. But this is from PBS News, and it says, firings over callous remarks on Kirk's killing sparked debate on limits of free speech. Okay, and the firings is referring to individuals' jobs. Okay, people are losing certain positions because of what they have said among online. Okay, and that's a major part of this NWO that we're entering into, which a portion of that is not being able to freely speak, a restraint upon, the things that you say, right, where the social and where the real world meets the virtual world, right? The things that you do in the virtual world, they are showed back out into the real world, okay? That's where this man is taking things, okay? He's merging man with machine, but before that you have to merge the realm with another, okay? Which that being the things that you do behind the walls of your home, all right? The statements that you make, online. There will be consequences with that in the real world, okay? I.e. a surveillance state, okay, where you're monitored and your thoughts are, or the things that you say behind closed doors, well, really not behind closed doors, but on the World Wide Web, right, are used against you, But let's read a bit of this. It says, in the wake of the conservative activist Charlie Kirk, which, if you didn't know, this man, and of course, I'm going to get to the scriptures, right? I'm going to get to the scriptures, of course. But, I want to make a few points beforehand so we can have context, all right? This man, Charlie, right? Charlie, right? Charlie. If you read in the etymology, it comes from a name, Charles, right? And when you get this word Charles, okay, it means a man or husband, okay? Now, his last name, that being Kirk, means church, okay? So we know that the Republican Party in these times, this two-party system is almost, it is treated to these people as a religion, okay? Matter of fact, let's actually start there. This is Revelation 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. Okay. And this beast is a extension of the Roman Empire. Okay. Which you had in the ancient world. Of course, the plebeians and patricians. Okay. In the actual Roman Empire. But that spirit has been renewed in these times, because the current rulership of the world is under the Romans. All right. It says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. All right. And those 2 horns, that would be the Democratic and Republican Party, also known as the plebeians and patricians. All right. In the ancient world. And that's what plays out today. But see, horns in the scriptures, they represent power. All right. Those are the 2 powers that the people pretty much rely on for virtue, righteousness, and the laws that move the society. All right. But they're ultimately upon the same beast. You know, those 2 horns are upon the same beast. They play a game of where it looks like they are opposing each other, but really they're in league with one another to move this thing forward. That being, move you closer to the chip, right? Because we're in Revelation 13, and when you read further down, it talks about, you know, how, you know, the chip would be used regardless of political party, regardless of social, economic placement, regardless of who you are. You're going to be added into the system. All right. But this is all this which we seen in the news. All right. This individual, Charlie Kirk, he's a worker bee of this NWO, if you will. And as we see his last name, it means church. Okay, because we know the political parties, these political parties, especially more so now, they're looked at as a church. It's a religion to these people. All right. Democracy, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are almost, they're pretty much a religion to these people. Okay. That's why you had churches being filled up after this man was murdered. You know, because these people, those political parties are idol, you see. And this man is, he's been used as a martyr, right? When that's going to galvanize the people to really start to push for change, you see. Charlie Kirk to them is a martyr. All right. That's why his name Charles, which means husband, and his last name Kirk, which means church. All right. It was a sign, if you will, for the higher ups to understand, while the common folk, they fight over, you know, the little details, but we know what's going on. Okay. This is all going to be used as a ploy to attack the rights of you people, you see. And we have no horse in the race, if you will. We're waiting on Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, and we know that this things like this will take place. All right, things like this will take place, but you know, I could care less if this man was you know, if he was, you know, the racist in his racist remarks, or if you know, people are crying over his death, or if they're excited over his death. You know, I could care less. You know, he's still an Edomite at the end of the day. So it is what it is. And the Lord is going to destroy the Edomites, man. You know, the Lord is preparing destruction for this system, you see. But this is back in that article. It says, firings over callous remarks on Kirk's killing sparked debate on limits of free speech. In the wake of conservative activist Charlie Kirk's death, President Trump and his allies promised consequences for people who speak callously about his killing, okay? And to speak callously, which we can look up, but pretty much, it says it here, callous, to write callously, it says in a way that shows an insensitive and cruel disregard for others unfeelingly, okay? To pretty much be unbothered, to be unmoved, right? Trump is almost making it mandatory to grieve for this man, for his death, i.e. being a martyr, okay? It says, President Trump and his allies have promised consequences for those who speak callously about his killing. Inside and out of Trump's government, it's led to people being fired, suspended, or reprimanded. It also sparked an open debate about the limits of free speech, okay? And we know that these are things that must be poked at for this NWO to be, accomplished, right? Because ultimately the end is nigh, right? You have Matthew the 24th chapter, right? And let's see. Where is it at? Maybe it's 12. No, it's 14. Matthew 24:14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. You see, and the end is being made manifest because of this gospel being preached. All right, the kicking, the pushing out of this news, okay, this good news, which the good news is that this kingdom is fading away. It's being destroyed and devoured, all right, by the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua before he touches down and actually puts it away indefinitely. All right, this world is being shown who the wicked is. It's being shown who the righteous is. And now, it's coming to a climax. And before World War III, we will see the implementation of the MOTB, the mandatory CHIP. All right, and this is part of it. All right, a more draconian state. And one of the major strongholds that America still has is the idea of free speech. But see, that's being attacked right now, and it's being moved and taken away right now. All right. But really, it's a closing of the doors of this gospel, okay? Because the gospel has been preached. Right, let's read it again. Matthew 24:14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. So see, the end is coming because of this gospel being preached. And your modern day Christian can see that the end is near, okay? Matter of fact, let's go here. We'll go here to Sirach, Second Esdras. All right, Second Esdras, the 5th chapter. This is Second Esdras 5:1 in the GNT. But these are the signs. All right, the time will come when all people on earth will be in the grip of great confusion. You see, and this right here is a further psyop. All right, a psychological experiment, man, on the people. All right, this is a further, to confuse the people, to get them all riled up and divided and emotional. Okay. This says, and which is causing them to be confused. It says, the way of truth will be hidden, and no faith will be left in the land. Okay, the way of truth is slowly but surely hiding itself. You see, you're having a lot of misinformation being put out. a lot of people are, pretty much just paid to cause dissent, to cause confusion, right? Crisis actors. But see, the main thing that's happening is His word is slowly but surely being taken away. All right, the Lord is sealing the spiritual ark, if you will. All right, closing the doors so that certain people are too late to the party. They're gonna be too late to receive salvation by gathering up this word. All right, and they're gonna be Matthew 25. All right, without oil in these days, because they weren't prudent, because they weren't looking, they weren't perceiving the signs. All right, and like I mentioned, to open up with, part of the sign is being able to see how this devil is moving and pushing prophecy, right? I believe that's Amos. Right, let's see, Amos 8 and 11. I was gonna go to 9. But this is it. It says, Amos 8 and 11, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst of water. And we see that being prepared, okay? We see a famine of bread being prepared too, right? Hyperinflation taking place, shrinkflation. At the same time, the dollar is losing its purchasing power. As prices are being inflated, the dollar is at the same time losing its purchasing power, and at the same time, reserve notes are being shipped out and moved to these other countries, right? Which is taking dollars out of the, out of circulation in America. So, there's a major attack upon the American dollar right now. But see, what the Lord is really preparing people for, which they're going to assume, see, that they're unappreciating the word, this knowledge is being taken for granted. But this is one of the major plagues, is the word not being preached anymore, because then the Lord is going to speak through His wrath. When you don't hear the voice of the Lord anymore, then you're going to really start to feel it. You see? That's because the plagues. The Lord already is saying, let His people go, proverbially, through the prophets, all right, the ministry. We're telling our people to gather themselves together, come upon the sign, the banner of Yahushua, all right, to remove yourself from this mental bondage. All right, that's the house of David pretty much saying, hey, let's go. Let's get up out of here. Let's prepare to leave, to flee. All right, but majority of our people are not listening. So when the Lord passes over this place, a lot of our people are going to be taken in a snare as well. You see? Thus saith the Lord. It says, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor of a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And that's what's coming, man. And we can see that through legislation that's being passed, okay? And this is the beginning of that. Although things have not been signed and put into, law and order, right? We see the president himself is suspending, reprimanding. Let's read it again. President Trump and his allies have promised consequences for people who speak callously about his killing. Inside and outside Trump's government is led to people being fired, suspended, or reprimanded, right, for the things that they say. Okay? So, yeah, there will be consequences for the things that people say. And this is an attack upon free speech. So this is the beginning of the exponential downfall of America, Babylon the Great. Okay, America is definitely in the Bible and is known as Babylon the Great. And now is the time to repent, because our salvation is nearer than we believe. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. All right, these are things that we already knew, but I wanted to put it out so that we be reminded of these things, to know that our time is short. All right, there's going to be in the next few weeks will be interesting to see how this plays out through legislation and through the escalations of war. All right, we're seeing major moves being made in the Middle East. Okay, Israel is emboldened even more. All right, and now finally the UN and the allies are now starting to say, they're starting to speak up. So we'll see what happens, man. All right, there's a lot going on. The ship that's coming toward Earth, all right, the Atlas, that I believe they're saying is slowing down, which I'll probably do a lesson on that. But man, we just got more to look forward to, man. Prophecies popping off the pages. So just stay locked in, Akim. We almost there. But anyway, with that, Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem HaKodash. All right, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught us his truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.